Я хотел бы поблагодарить вас. I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you. Я хотел бы изучать английский более интенсивно. I'd like to learn English more intensively. I'd like to learn English more intensively. I'd like to learn English more intensively. Я хотел бы поговорить с тобой об этом. I'd like to talk to you about it. Or, I'd like to talk with you about it. Or, I'd like to speak with you about it. Or, I'd like to speak to you about it. I'd like to talk to you about it. Or, I'd like to talk with you about it. Or, I'd like to speak with you about it. Or, I'd like to speak to you about it. I'd like to talk to you about it. Or, I'd like to talk with you about it. Or, I'd like to speak with you about it. Or, I'd like to speak to you about it. Я хотел бы поехать в эту страну в следующем году. I'd like to go to this country next year. I'd like to go to this country next year. I'd like to go to this country next year. Я хотел бы жить за границей. I'd like to live abroad. I'd like to live abroad. I'd like to live abroad. Я хотел бы послушать эту песню. I'd like to listen to this song. I'd like to listen to this song. I'd like to listen to this song. Я хотел бы услышать эту историю. I'd like to hear the story. I'd like to hear this story. I'd like to hear the story. Я хотел бы прочесть эту книгу. I'd like to read this book. I'd like to read this book. I'd like to read this book. Я хотел бы купить дом. I'd like to buy a house. I'd like to buy a house. I'd like to buy a house. Я хотел бы очень хорошо знать английский. I'd like to know English very well. I'd like to know English very well. I'd like to know English very well. Я хотел бы купить эту вещь. I'd like to buy this thing. I'd like to buy this thing. I'd like to buy this thing. Я хотел бы меньше работать. I'd like to work less. I'd like to work less. I'd like to work less. Они хотели бы позвонить нам. They'd like to call us. They'd like to call us. They'd like to call us. Я хотел бы пойти в этот ресторан. I'd like to go to this restaurant. I'd like to go to this restaurant. I'd like to go to this restaurant. Мой друг хотел бы учиться в другом месте. My friend would like to study in another place. My friend would like to study in another place. My friend would like to study in another place. Моя сестра хотела бы преподавать английский. My sister would like to teach English. My sister would like to teach English. My sister would like to teach English. Я хотел бы там учиться. I'd like to study there. I'd like to study there. I'd like to study there. Я хотел бы послушать музыку. I'd like to listen to music. I'd like to listen to music. I'd like to listen to music. Я хотел бы услышать всю историю. I'd like to hear all the story. I'd like to hear all the story. I'd like to hear all the story. Я хотел бы изучать английский здесь. I'd like to learn English here. I'd like to learn English here. I'd like to learn English here. Он хотел бы получить эту работу. He'd like to get this job. He'd like to get this job. He'd like to get this job. Его секретарь хотел бы получить новую работу. His secretary would like to get a new job. His secretary would like to get a new job. His secretary would like to get a new job. Я хотел бы позвонить им. I'd like to call them. I'd like to call them. I'd like to call them. Я хотел бы знать все новости. I'd like to know all the news. I'd like to know all the news. I'd like to know all the news. Я хотел бы перевести эту фразу. I'd like to translate this phrase. I'd like to translate this phrase. I'd like to translate this phrase. Я хотел бы поехать в Америку в следующем месяце. I'd like to go to America next month. I'd like to go to America next month. I'd like to go to America next month. Я хотел бы купить это красивое платье. I'd like to buy this beautiful dress. I'd like to buy this beautiful dress. I'd like to buy this beautiful dress. Я хотел бы получать больше денег. I'd like to get more money. I'd like to get more money. I'd like to get more money. Мне бы хотелось иметь машину. I'd like to have a car. I'd like to have a car. I'd like to have a car. Мы хотели бы поиграть в футбол. We'd like to play football. We'd like to play football. We'd like to play football. Мне бы хотелось чашку кофе. I'd like a cup of coffee. I'd like a cup of coffee. I'd like a cup of coffee. Я бы хотел говорить по-английски свободно. I'd like to speak English fluently. I'd like to speak English fluently. I'd like to speak English fluently. Мне бы хотелось посмотреть это видео. I'd like to watch this video. I'd like to watch this video. I'd like to watch this video. Я хотел бы почитать книгу на английском. I'd like to read a book in English. I'd like to read a book in English. I'd like to read a book in English. Я хотел бы жить в другой стране. I'd like to live in another country. I'd like to live in another country. I'd like to live in another country. Я бы действительно хотел поблагодарить тебя. I'd really like to thank you. I'd really like to thank you. I'd really like to thank you. Я хотел бы рассказать тебе все. I'd like to tell you everything. I'd like to tell you everything. I'd like to tell you everything. Я хотел бы перевести это слово. I'd like to translate this word. I'd like to translate this word. I'd like to translate this word. Мой брат хотел бы попытаться сделать это. My brother would like to try to do it. My brother would like to try to do it. My brother would like to try to do it. Мне бы хотелось больше работать. I'd like to work more. I'd like to work more. I'd like to work more. Я хотел бы позвонить ей. I'd like to call her. I'd like to call her. I'd like to call her. Я хотел бы поблагодарить вас за вашу помощь. I'd like to thank you for your help. I'd like to thank you for your help. I'd like to thank you for your help. Он хотел бы поблагодарить вас за вашу поддержку. He'd like to thank you for your support. He'd like to thank you for your support. He'd like to thank you for your support. Я хотел бы поблагодарить вас за все. I'd like to thank you for everything. I'd like to thank you for everything. I'd like to thank you for everything.